Hi, welcome back to another episode of The Boardroom. In this meeting, we are talking about proofreading and the misconceptions around proofreading. Some people think is basically retranslating a document, which is not. And we are going to talk about what proofreading is all about and the misconceptions and also some mistakes that may be made when translators proofread a document. So come in, sit down, let's start the meeting. Our meeting. Proofreading today. Are you ready to talk about proofreading? Proofreading is one of those things that I've been doing for a while, especially in the last 4 years of my career, when I signed a contract with a company, and my job is proofreading um, rules, game rules, and artwork for the casino games that they test and certify. I love working with this company. They are amazing clients, and it's a work that I kind of enjoy doing because it gives me the opportunity also to show them a bit of the importance of language, and especially when uh, there are a few localization issues, which is sometimes common with proofreading jobs. And obviously, I always take the opportunity to make my clients aware that that's a very important fact and that they should take in consideration. But let's start talking about proofreading. Proofreading is basically um, retranslate mentally from the translation and get it back to the source. So you read the translation and you do in your mind a translation back to the source language, and then you compare what you obtain reading that translation to what you have got in your original source text. It's basically the basics of proofreading in a nutshell. But this is not only, that's not all, there's more. So, apart from ascertaining if that translation is actually conveying the same message and is correct, you also need to give it a little bit of a review if there is any tiny little typos that may be there. I know we all very picky, especially as linguists and translators. We are all very picky with the quality of our work and typos and etc. But we are all human, and we know that everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes these tiny little typos happen. So sometimes, if you have to proofread a document, um, it is normal that you may find one or two typos. Obviously, it doesn't happen always, but sometimes it does. So that's part of your job, just to point out that it's misspelled or something like that. But sometimes there are other issues that you should point out. For example, like localization issues, and that's one of the things that I was mentioning before. It is very important because, for example, in my particular case, with online casinos and games and sports bets, etc., it is very important that when a player is actually accessing those platforms to gamble, to bet on those sports or play a certain game, it is important that the player is aware of all the rules, and the rules are actually presented to them in a very clear way, so they understand everything about the game and what they are about to enter into, and therefore not being confused or led into making mistakes or anything like that. So it's also part of our job to verify that. And in this particular case, if you have a text that may have localization issues, it is important to point it out, and it is important to let your client know that it is an issue, because and in the particular case of Portuguese from Portugal and Portuguese from Brazil, there is differences, and there is words that are used in Brazil that simply are not recognized in Portugal, and vice versa. So that is an issue and needs to be addressed. It's a serious issue. Then of course there's always there might be an omission that your colleague may have made, that you believe it's not in the best interest of the purpose of that translation, or there may be something that simply was misinterpreted and is not translated correctly. And obviously you need to point out that it was a mistake, or that it's not translated properly, or there's a mistake, or anything like that. And obviously you have to point out a solution, what you suggest could be done to fix what you think it is a problem. However, you do not retranslate the document. You will not retranslate, for example, the paragraph or the sentence. You will just suggest a translation for that particular term or expression. If there is a part of the text that wasn't translated, you point out this segment was not translated. You are not obliged to translate it. So this is what I believe we should do. Sometimes, and I'm guilty of that, sometimes if there is a part not translated, I will tend to say I would translate it like this. So my colleague will see it, and if he agrees or disagrees, he will comment on that. But you do not need to translate. You just need to point out to the client this segment is not translated. And the person that was paid to translate the document will need to address that segment that was not translated and explain why wasn't it translated. So this is what you should do. You need to suggest things, and then the document goes back to the original translator, so the colleague that has done the translation, and that colleague will see your comments, will see what you found with their work, and if they disagree, they will get back to you with any issues that they think there's need a little bit more discussion. Our colleague doesn't have to accept it. If you get your translations proofread and some other colleague makes suggestions that you simply don't agree with, you do not have to believe or accept them. You just need to explain why you don't accept them and why you believe they are not, in your opinion, the best options. But obviously this is always made with a lot of ethics and a lot of discussion in between. It is a good work. Some translators really don't like proofreading work. I kind of, it grew on me. I didn't really enjoy it in the beginning, but actually it grew on me. And because I really like to work with this client, and I really like the projects, and they are very interesting projects, it kind of helped me start liking the job, and I really like proofreading now, and it's just you just get used to it, and you just get all these tiny little things in your mind, and you just get a routine going, and then it becomes easier. That's my tip. And that's all for today. I declare our meeting closed. I hope you liked this meeting, and I gave you a little bit of an insight on what the proofreading job is about. But of course, if you have any questions, or even if you disagree with what I said and you have a few ideas about what the proofreading job is, please feel free to leave your comment below, and we can get the discussion going. Put a like, why not? The YouTube algorithm always likes it. And don't forget to subscribe the channel and be a part of the boardroom. So thank you very much for watching. See you next week to another episode of the boardroom. Have a good one. Bye.